What's going on, everybody? We are the Cinefanatics. It is time for the finale.
I don't want to be over.
I know. I don't either.
I don't want to.
This was the first time here we go. We're going to start off this talking about the finale of WandaVision, and I'm going to start with one image that I feel like is no longer. Yeah, I'll get to that here. More important.
Those are our names.
This no longer exists anymore. This was the first episode we did not have to see this, and I am thoroughly happy about it. Anyways, that aside, what's going on, y'all? We are the Cinefanatics. My name is Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And this is the finale of WandaVision. I know.
Wanda now.
I know. It's so heartbreaking. Just this was such a good show.
Come back.
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
I actually did see a lot of people now that this has wrapped up. A lot of people on the internet, a lot of news articles and stuff were talking about this, and they're like, "This is actually the perfect time for this show to come out." Granted, this show was already in the planning to come out before there was a pandemic, but now it's this is the type of show to really show it really put an emphasis on grief and how people deal with grieving. It was a perfect during this specific time.
Yeah, it's just a big old coincidence that this is the time that this show actually kind of was forced to come out. And I don't know if there's anybody who actually had I wouldn't say foresight, but the present sight of understanding what's happening, saying, hey, actually, I know we're pushing back Black Widow and thereby pushing back Falcon and the Winter Soldier a little bit. Let's move WandaVision forward just based on what's going on in that show. I think that's going to be the perfect thing to happen right now. Maybe someone was smart enough to make that decision. I don't know, but
wasn't Falcon and the Winter Soldier supposed to come out first?
Yeah, Black Widow's supposed to happen, and then I believe Falcon and Winter Soldier is supposed to happen right after it.
Good Lord, that title is really long. We're going to need to work on that a little bit later. But moving on.
The Falcons and the Windies.
Yes, moving on. So yeah, this show is so good. It's going away, unfortunately. We'll get into that in a little bit, but let's talk about some quick housekeeping stuff, guys. Those of y'all watching, specifically, let's call out 14 Little Angel. Hey guys, hey, thanks for coming back. If anyone watching, y'all have any questions, comments, anything, suggestions, streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. It's right up there above his head. Get those questions, comments in. That'd be fantastic. Also, spoiler warning. We're going to be talking about the finale of WandaVision. If you haven't seen it yet, weird, I guess, would be the word I would use. Go watch it. And then come back. So, anyways, also patreon.com/cinefanatics. Hop on there, the tier that is right for you. Coming up, we will be doing the private watch along of Kong Skull Island right before we get Godzilla vs. Kong coming out. There will be a Blu-ray giveaway like there was for Coming to America. So hop on that dude tier on our Patreon. You'll be able to come back and watch us with you watching Kong Skull Island. That should be a lot of fun because that's probably my favorite movie out of all those the Godzilla and Kong that's come out so far. That's probably the best one in my opinion, I would say. So
yeah, for sure.
And just a whole lot of other fun stuff that's happening on the Patreon. We got a Discord. We're building a movie-loving community. So hop on there. It's a lot of fun. Publicly, on the 20th, we will be doing a public watch-along. You don't have to be a part of our Patreon for Justice League. This is coming. So the 20th is after the Zack Snyder cut comes out. So we did that on purpose, right?
Yes. We did.
Okay. So we will be doing we're gonna watch the Snyder Cut. I know between the two of us we'll watch it first, but then we will be doing the public watch along for Justice League. What are you counting?
How many times you said the word public? Yes, we're gonna be watching the Justice League, the Joss Whedon version after we watch the Snyder Cut. Because we're gonna have some fun with potentiality of that movie being a lot worse than the Snyder Cut. So that's going to be a fun watch along, and we wanted to do it publicly so everybody can come in, have fun, and hang out and watch it together. Yes, but I said it once.
Cool. Anyways, that's the fun stuff that we have coming. What else? I think that's it for right now. We'll cover something else at the end of this episode, but anyways, let's dive into the finale of WandaVision. Holy crap. So last episode we got left off with Agatha has got Wanda's kids, not exactly sure what she's trying to do still. And then we saw that Hayward has his weapon, the White Vision, that he's planning on using against Wanda. And that's where we got left off. Right off the bat, I do like the title of this episode was called the finale episode.
Yeah, the series finale.
Series finale. Yeah, that works so well. Now, the thing I question, though, is it was called the series finale when Kevin Feige himself has said, if there's a potential for some more storyline, we might do a second season. So
here's the thing, and obviously, like, we're gonna go through as much of this episode as possible. And guys, we have notes written down, but I don't think we're gonna be able to go like scene for scene as we like kind of have been, just because there's just some wrap up thoughts really on this whole situation. But if there's stuff that for some reason we miss or don't mention, you guys let us know in the chat, let us know in the Streamlabs, all of that, and we can talk about whatever it is that you want to bring up, because we're here to break down everything, what you caught, all of that. But so Kevin Feige talking about, we might be able to see this, the way this episode ends off, the way the series ends off, and obviously we'll get to it when we get there, but it does leave it open where it can divert straight into, say, Doctor Strange, or it can divert to its own second season still. There's plenty of cliffhanger that happened at the end of this show, that if they wanted to carry that story into just a second season of WandaVision, they could. I don't think they will. Not right now, anyway. I think everything that they kind of set up is kind of gearing more towards Doctor Strange at this moment.
And Captain Marvel, too.
Yeah. And Secret Wars or whatever.
Yeah.
That other TV show. Secret Invasion. That's it.
So, right off the bat, again, a lot of heavy themes towards Wizard of Oz in this episode.
Oh yeah.
Granted, the fact you've got witches, so we know witches are being involved, but when they threw that car and then they show under the car, you see the boots. That looked exactly like the Wicked Witch of the East's boots sticking out from under the house. It was a great shot. What else did you see in this? Because I think you actually saw a couple. The only one I saw was the marquee.
Yeah. There was that. There was there's kind of a little bit of the why are we breaking things down? Debriefing.
I love that line. Where'd Darcy go? She was in this episode for like 2 seconds. She's gone. Debriefings are for the week. Like, well, there's a nice like.
There is something to be said about maybe underutilizing some of the other characters, but I don't want to touch on that just yet. As far as like the Wizard of Oz stuff, you had the boots underneath the car. I might be mistaken, but it sounded like the music that was kind of playing at that moment sounded a little bit like a Wizard of Oz, and I don't know if like what the music rights are for that, but there was the aspect that it feels like Wanda was fighting for home. She was fighting to get home, just have her home with her kids, her family, with Vision. And so there was the Dorothy aspect of she's just trying to fight to get home, to just have what she sees as that home life feeling, that warm and comfortable feeling. So there's that aspect. I could probably like try to stretch and deep dive into how Vision and the kids and Wanda and all different people in the town all represent like the different characters of Wizard of Oz, but I don't feel like it. So yeah, and then you have the movie theater marquee, which had Oz the Great and Powerful written on it, which, Of course, now we're talking about, is that a little heavy-handed in terms of a Wizard of Oz reference? Maybe. But what the secret reference there is that was a movie directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
We know is directing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. So
that was up there for like a split second. Like you just so happen to see the word Oz and then move on.
Still intentional.
Yeah.
So that's a fun little Easter egg. Like you think when it comes to the last episode, are they going to be running out of like little Easter eggs and stuff to do? No, of course not. They're going to be jumping in and throwing all sorts of stuff in there, even in the last episode.
Mm-hmm. So the next thing we move on to is we had a whole lot of like the witch on witch fighting action. What's up, Maxwell? Yeah, so you got like the witch on witch fighting in which Agatha then pulls out of nowhere that book that we saw. I know it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but she pulls out, this is the book that the camera lingered on. Do I still have it up here? I don't think I do. Yeah. This is the book that the camera lingered on when they were introducing her as Agatha Harkness. That would be the Darkhold. She confirmed it was the Darkhold, which is what most everyone was suspicious about. Last time we saw the Darkhold was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we weren't exactly sure whether or not that's connected. We'll touch upon that here in a little bit. But yeah, so we got confirmation this book is the Darkhold. It's one of the most powerful books in Marvel Comics. It probably was also a book potentially in the library in Doctor Strange. And it was missing, I believe. There was a gap in there for a book that was missing. I don't know if that was that or not.
No, that book was the one that Caecilius
took the pages out of.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because he didn't take the book. He just took pages. But anyways, and then we got introduced to the White Vision who came in. And I like this White Vision. I think they did pretty well with that.
He held his face like that, like he was kind of like the entire time.
Yeah, kind of like, I was going to show this picture later, but yeah, he's got a weirdness to him on how they.
It's like they wiped away every aspect of what was Vision before, which I mean that is what they did, but it's like he had to relearn how to be. Just how to be, how to exist, kind of. So that's a very interesting direction they took with White Vision there.
Yes, the Darkhold was also in the Runaways.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense because and when we first started this off, when we were talking about say like Dottie in the second episode, we were contemplating whether or not she could be Morgan Le Fay, who I believe was in the Runaways.
Yes, Morgan Le Fay was the villain in the Runaway show. Yeah,
so it kind of shows like all this stuff that came before kind of isn't canonized still.
Yeah,
only the shows and movies that we're getting from like Disney Plus and in the theater and all of that. Those are the only things that are going to be canon now.
Yeah. So moving on, we got this part with Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo
was just all kinds of awesome. I love Randall Park. He was all kinds of awesome in this. That whole thing. Now, this is probably the only thing I will question is we see him talking to Hayward. He's in handcuffs, and he looks down and sees the cell phone on the table, and then we can tell he's nonchalantly trying to grab it with his hands behind his back. While there's other agents and guards behind him too that are pretty much very well seeing him grab this phone. That was my only complaint. My only complaint of this entire episode was that.
So, he's a magician. He knows how to keep a secret.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It was like, okay, he's doing like the sleight of hand that he learned from Scott. What's up, Lola? So that's what he's trying to do.
What I really enjoyed about that though is, obviously he had his moment with Hayward there. His whole, oh, well, they're going to be really interested in hearing about this. You're going to get in some trouble and stuff. And he's like, you're bluffing. Am I? So they took him away. And the part I really loved is when he took the handcuffs off. and
paper with a safety pin.
Yeah, with a safety pin. He did the he did the callback to the magic episode for the kids with Vision's flourish. He did the flourish, and so I was like, oh, that's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah,
like he picked something up from watching the WandaVision show, and now he's using it in his everyday life, and I will too. I will say flourish at some point in my everyday life now. Thank you, Jimmy Woo and Vision. But no, so after he gets the handcuffs off, he proceeds to call somebody named Cliff. Yes, that's right. As soon as he said that, I pulled out my phone and looked up. Gentleman named Cliff in the Marvel Universe. There is one.
Would you like to borrow the glasses?
There is one gentleman. No. There's one person named Cliff in the Marvel Universe that I found. There might be more. Who knows? But the only one that's relevant to the situation would be a Cliff Randall, who was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. But more than that.
Oh, no. I can just bring them. I swear, I can bring them to your room if you want.
It's fine. It's okay. We're good with what we got here. Cliff Randall was a member of an alien race known as the Collective Intelligence. Randall was a prodigal, a sleeper agent living as a normal human being on Earth. I am reading the fandom wiki, I believe, on this. He was a sleeper agent living as a normal human on Earth until being recalled by the intelligence, and he sabotaged their ship in order to save Earth. Why are you undercutting what I'm doing here? Come on. Would you take him off? Thank you. Anyway, basically what I'm saying is that Jimmy Woo called a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, who I actually expect is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent at this point, may be part of the FBI, I don't know. And that S.H.I.E.L.D. agent person is part of another alien race. So that makes sense. He calls up Cliff. I'm thinking that's a nod to this Cliff Randall. I don't know if this Cliff Randall person actually shows up ever in anything, or if it's just a nod to that character from the comics, but still, an Easter egg nonetheless.
Yeah. Another Easter egg. Or actually, this is one of those, like, you could kind of tell what parts of this show felt like they were really just trying to sum up and close some of our theories. Which, by the way, I don't know. I don't know how many people like were really upset that like some of their theories just did not happen at all. There's no Mephisto in this show. None of that happened at all.
Didn't need it.
No, I think this worked pretty well. One that I was not anticipating, though, we were still wondering who was this, like, Pietro, and we're trying to think, is this Mephisto or Chthon or whatever the characters are? Is this some other super secret? No, it's Ralph Boner.
Boner.
You know, someone put that H in just for funsies.
It's Bonner.
Like that H has no business being there. But anyways, yeah, he was Ralph. Now, was Ralph really a thing? But
yeah, Ralph was Agnes's husband that she complained about the entire series through, and we finally figured out who Ralph was. Ralph was whatever was Evan Peters. He was nobody. He was maybe an actor. I mean, she pulled up a headshot there, so I assume he was an actor. But yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. I love what this show has done because it has taken individuals who overthink what could be and has basically told them, stop it. Stop doing that. You don't need to do that. Not everything is everything. Some things are just what they are. And that's okay. And that's the thing. Like, we've been doing these breakdowns here on this show, and we've been kind of, okay, who is this fake Quicksilver? Is he actually the Quicksilver from the X-Men universe and they pulled him in somehow? What's going on? No. He's just a guy. He's just a guy named Boner. He's nobody.
Real quick, I do want to go back up to this. How did no one hear him make the phone call? Because hey is sound dampening, I guess.
I mean, sort of, yeah. But anyway, I found that very fascinating, especially after the snooper's going to snoop, that little post credit there. I was like, okay, I'm actually really expecting there to be some more stuff there. And then we had a whole episode where we didn't touch on Pietro and Monica at all. So I was like, okay, what's happening there? And then we get to this episode and they're just chilling. They're not doing anything. They're just relaxing. I mean, Monica's not, but I do. Yeah, that would be hilarious. That could still be a thing, but
yeah, possibly.
But so you have Monica figuring out, okay, how does Agatha have control over you? How is that? So, and she discovered this the little necklace that he had around. She broke the necklace off, and he lost his super speed and all sorts of everything, all control that Agatha had over him. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah. So now we still have the Wanda versus Agatha. Boner. Wanda versus Agatha. The fight has been dragged out into the city streets where the entire townsfolk can see. They all start with their complaining of like, you've been in our head. You're forcing us to see your grief, to live your grief. And so Wanda was like, okay, that's it. And she starts releasing the town from everything. The interesting thing about this is what Wanda didn't realize is by removing the hex also removes her kids. So another big theory, a big question that everyone's been talking about is what happens to the kids and everything. I mean, we saw previously what would happen to Vision when he tried leaving. This is the same thing happening to like the kids now, which that was a really cool shot and graphic and the way they did that. That looked awesome.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
It was. But like I love the cinematography on how they did that. It looked really good. So of course that's where Wanda's like, well, I can't do this yet. I need my family still. So
yeah.
So she decides to stop everything with opening up the hex. The military got in. So they're coming in and now they're all like staring down Wanda's family, who decides that this is the perfect time to do the Incredibles pose.
Which that'd be nice if we were able to pull up the Incredibles family also, because I know that they did that same exact pose. But you guys know what it is. Look up the Incredibles. It's you know what pose it is.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. So you have a super powered family, of course. I do like this though.
Boys, handle the military. Mommy will be right back. I love that.
Exactly. I love the lines, the parenting from both Vision and Wanda here. The boys, we know that we never really prepared you for this, and then Wanda, but you were born for it. I love the giving the sense of purpose into their children there in that moment, understanding, hey, you have superpowers. This is your purpose, is to save lives, is to be a hero, essentially. I thought that was a great moment, and it's a nice little moment of reflection for Wanda's character after having already processed through the maybe I am the villain situation that we saw before. So, yeah. So then you got Hayward. So you got the military's coming in. You've got Hayward, who is just the biggest. What's the word I can use? Douche nozzle. He's a douche nozzle, I guess.
That does not get used enough. Like, douche nozzle really needs to be incorporated into most people's like vocabulary.
Does it though? Does it? He's just a big old bag of awful.
What douche nozzle lowered the Texas mandate on COVID?
Oh, stop it! Oh, stop it! Stop it! Anyway, he pulls out his gun and he's firing off at the kids. Like here's the thing. We're talking about him as a villain. He is trying to save this town full of people by eliminating Wanda, essentially. And, okay, fine. Wanda's got a hold of these people, giving them nightmares. Sure, she sounds awful in this case, and what he's doing sounds like a very moral thing to do. I'm going to go save these people. Yeah, you lose all credibility when you start shooting at kids.
Yeah.
I don't care if they've got powers. You lose credibility when you start shooting at them. However, Monica was able to get out and intervene and show off a little bit more of her photon powers that she's got. And that was a really cool hero moment for her too, especially because her and a lot of these other characters have kind of been underutilized, at least in this episode. Not saying that, this isn't a show about Monica Rambeau. This isn't a show about Darcy Lewis or even about Jimmy Woo, but it feels like a lot of their character work has been kind of pushed to the side a little bit. And maybe rightfully so, because this is Wanda and Vision's story. It's mostly Wanda's story, so it does make sense. But I just hate that. Okay, Hayward hightails it, and then the only scene we get with Darcy, the real bag of Richards hightails it, and the only scene we get with Darcy is when she rams the fake ice cream truck into his and says, "Have fun in prison." Admittedly, hilarious line, and is absolutely right in Darcy's character, but that's all we got from her.
Thought it was a funnel cake truck.
Was it funnel cake? Whatever it was.
It was funnel cake.
It was funnel cake. It was a truck full of sweets.
Mm-hmm.
Look, all my credibility is gone because I couldn't remember that it was a funnel cake truck.
Yep. Just if y'all want to subscribe, I don't know why, but I mean, subscribe to this channel. That would be fantastic. We'll keep going. I mean, this will be a show that we try to keep doing if y'all will still allow us to. But I mean, who knows at this point how this is going to go? But I mean, we'll do our due diligence in the future, and we apologize for like any kind of. Anything that we did to disgrace the funnel cake loving community, I apologize on behalf of my younger brother. Moving on though. So
yeah, that joke took a while.
I felt it landed nicely. I'm okay with it. So Vision.
So yeah, Rich says his big plan was to kill one Vision to get credit for another Vision after killing some kids and town people. Yeah. Not saying he's got great plans.
Yeah, not a great plan.
Not a great plan.
I do like the Vision on Vision fighting that we have going on. Of course, this is the big reveal of which actor Paul Bettany always wanted to work with. It was himself. So that was pretty clever. That's some good like highbrow like trolling. It's pretty good. It's pretty good trolling right there, I would say. So love that.
Pretty good. I like the trolling. You did a good job there, Mr. Bettany. Pretty good. Yeah.
So there's a conversation that they have there, like in that scene where White Vision says that his mission is to destroy Vision. And I'm gonna super paraphrase this. But I don't know how we refer to the White Vision or the color Vision.
No. We can call them White Vision and Vision.
Okay. White Vision and Vision. We could call them fake Vision. So there's the fake Vision is trying to tell White Vision, like, yes, your goal was to go after the Vision, but what actually is the Vision? Like, I'm essentially the soul, the memory, what's left of the original, the actual Vision. You're the body. So theoretically, if you're trying to destroy the Vision, wouldn't that be you? And then I believe he made a comparison to like a ship. I believe it was like you take the ship and you dismantle it and you form two other ships out of that the leftover. Pieces. Well, which one is it? So which ship? Both of them are that ship because they're both made of it. So a great conversation that they had there. I absolutely love that. So
yeah, it was a great moment in this because they first started off giving us like our first actual real action scene from the show.
Silver Vision. Yeah.
I was listening to Ben Goddard and Alex Marzonia. They've been doing Whisper Vision reviews on the stereo app where they'll just quietly whisper what they thought about the show because they don't want to wake up Alex's parents. That's the exact reason. And they brought up the term Vision for White Vision. His name is Vision.
Vision. That's awesome.
Yeah. On the other hand, I kind of am more in line of wanting to call him Dennis Caleb McCoy. That's exactly who he reminded me of. And I saw that John Humphrey from The Real Rejects also posted that on Twitter, and I retweeted going, this is exactly what I was thinking the entire time too.
If only he had that accent or whatever, that would have, I mean, that's not possible, but I mean, that would have been funny.
My name is Dennis Caleb McCoy.
Yeah.
That was funny. But no, I really enjoyed that scene because, first of all, they gave us our first real action scene in this show. You got Wanda versus Agatha, but then you got Vision on Vision. And it was
Vision action.
It just like we said last time, it shows you where the most of the budget in production for this show went. You saw a lot in other episodes, but this is the big effects heavy episode, and it's kind of what we were expecting here. Really, really loved the action, the phasing between each other, trying to dominate the other one in the fight. And then when they ended up in the library and they just started having essentially a battle of wits, so to speak, and using logic to fight it out, that is 100% up Vision's alley. Like that's exactly what I expect out of the Vision. So yeah,
he did kind of look like Frieza. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. So I love that. And then you had that moment where Vision, White Vision, decides, Silver Vision, whatever you want to call him, our old pal, old Vision body, realizes or is talking to our new Vision that he doesn't have the data, he doesn't have the memories. And so our new Vision says, well, I can unlock those for you. And he does kind of the similar he does to our new Vision here, or old Vision, or the White Vision. He does hear what he's been doing to the townspeople in previous episodes, unlocking their minds essentially. So they set that up in previous episodes as he frees the townspeople from Wanda's hold or Agatha's hold, whoever had hold. I guess Wanda did have the hold over the townspeople, but frees their minds from the hold, and then you see them, who they really are. The same thing here. He did that to the Vision here, unlocked the data in his mind, and brought him back to life, essentially. But we see him dip. He's like, peace, I'm out. I am the Vision. I'm out. And he leaves. Assuming to be seen from at some point later on in MCU timeline. Maybe in Doctor Strange, I don't know. But
we do think that was what we were suspecting, is that he will be the new Vision, because it's a comic book. People don't die in comic books. We got to bring Vision back, and that's how we do it.
Yeah, totally expect him to show back up at some point within the.
You mean my Wonder Man theory didn't hold water into the final episode of this show? Go figure.
I think the summation of this show is, if you had a theory that was an extracurricular character beyond what we're already seeing, that character's not showing up in this show.
Or it was Agatha all along, and that was
it
was just Agatha. That's the only.
it was either Agatha all along, or it was Boner all along. Either one.
God, don't say that ever again. Jeez.
Okay. Fine.
I don't know. But how to move on with this show now.
No, I love that we got Vision back, and I think that was probably one of the goals for this show, is to find a way to actually bring Vision back to life, because we're not done with him yet. You saw. Mm-mm. And does that? Here's the thing: do we feel like that undercuts his death in Infinity War at all?
Not really, because I think what made that one so significant was his connection to Wanda, and for all intents and purposes, this Vision is still kind of separated from Wanda. He doesn't have those memories. He doesn't have like the being with Wanda in his soul type of thing. He is cut off from Wanda. It's a completely different Vision, much like when they did this in the comics also. So kind of, yeah. But also because of this show existing, I feel like this show kind of helped like bridge like some gaps into, well, what if Vision was still alive? Like if it was going to be undercutted, yes, it would be completely. It would be undercut and it would feel terrible. But because this show existed and kind of got us back used to the idea of Wanda and Vision together, I think it kind of made it feel natural and didn't really undercut at all. I hope all of that I said makes sense.
Yeah, it earned Vision having a life again, essentially.
Absolutely, yes.
I agree. I'd actually be interested in you guys in the chat if you guys agree or not. If you feel like this show actually did service enough to bring Vision back and it feel natural, it feel right instead of undercutting his sacrifice essentially in Infinity War. But yeah, I do like that we are going to get more from him at some point. It'd be interesting to see when. Yeah, I like what Gordon said here. It's kind of like when they brought 2014 Gamora into the present in Endgame. Yeah, and that one I'm okay with. I was not okay with Gamora dying, so I do like that they are finding a way to continue her character in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies and everything. So let's see.
Yeah.
Not going to lie when Vision.
First time you didn't care. Yeah, they did a really good job of really making you feel like it was at the beginning of Infinity War. We see Vision and Wanda are hiding out in I believe it was like Scotland, I believe, and we see Vision is in his like human form, and we're like, wait, so these two are a couple now? I know they were in the comics, but if you're not a comic book nerd, like, you're like, wait, why are they a couple? This doesn't make any sense. And you didn't really get that sense of how they are connected until like say the end of Infinity War, where Thanos is trying to kill Vision to take the Mind Stone.
They were kind of showing and pushing towards that a little bit in Civil War with the paprikash.
Yeah, where he was trying to make the food. Mm-hmm.
So they were kind of leaning that direction, but then obviously we see full on, in Infinity War and everything. But this show did a lot. This show did a lot to fill in a lot of the gaps that we've been missing, and they did a really good job about it. I really enjoyed this show, but let's we're not there on the overall thoughts of the show just yet. Let's continue down the line here.
Yeah. Let me see. Do we want to go back? I kind of want to go back to a question that Gordon asked up here. Where do you think we'll see Darcy next? The next Thor movie?
Is she going to be in Love and
I don't
Thunder?
know if she's gonna be in it, but I mean,
Jane's in it, so
yeah, that's why I would probably lean more towards her popping up in there, just because we already know that Jane is going to be the female Thor from the comics. Darcy might be really good back in there to kind of help with Jane maybe doing the whole fish out of water type of like, how do I sustain being Thor now?
How do I Thor?
And Darcy's the comic relief on that. So. And while also having to help Jane, especially if they dive into, real quick, if they dive into the storyline of Jane having cancer, Darcy might be there to kind of help be like the shoulder to lean on, the guidance and everything. So that's where I would venture a guess that's where she'll pop up again. But I almost guarantee we're not done seeing Darcy.
Didn't she say she's basically got her doctorate now?
Yeah, she is Dr. Darcy Lewis.
So now she's not a medical doctor, so I don't think she's going to sit here and be like, I know how to fix your cancer. But she might know more than the average bear would.
That's the thing. Like if you have a doctorate in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you're a doctor of everything. I mean, look at Bruce Banner. He all of a sudden became like the king of knowing time travel. Like he was the one controlling like all the time travel stuff and everything. No, he knows like gamma radiation.
smart people are going to smart.
Yeah,
Tony figured out time travel too, and he was more into like mechanics and weaponry and stuff.
And he doesn't have a doctorate in anything,
as far as we know. Anyway, let's see. Here's the other thing I like was that we go back to Agatha and Wanda's fight, and you saw that brief bit where Wanda is giving Agatha her worst nightmare, essentially, and did the same exact thing that we saw her do back in Age of Ultron. The nice little callback to the creepy little walk up and then messing with the mind. And I thought, like, man, it's just such a small touch, but it's a great little touch to say, like, no, we remember where we came from. We remember how we got to this point. We know who Wanda was then. She's still the same Wanda now. She's just learned and has grown from that moment. I love it. I love that they do those little callbacks, those small little things, like having the same effect in order to keep a character alive, keep a character growing, essentially.
Yeah, that was nice. So basically, it within Agatha's mind, she got transported back to what was it, Salem in 1693. But this time, she was putting Wanda at the stake and trying to essentially like drain her powers.
That's a great thing to touch on too, is that they did a lot of like back and forth with these two characters. They really kept you guessing as to who's going to have the upper hand at what moment. Yes. And you're like, okay, cool. Wanda's got the upper hand now. Nope. Agatha's got it. Oh, Agatha. We thought Agatha had it, but no, Wanda has it. No, Agatha's still got it. It's like, I love that. I loved the back and forth between those two. It kind of made the fight very interesting and kind of kept you on your toes.
Mm-hmm. So I like this because, again, this was a callback to seeing like Agatha's origin of sorts. That you've got Agatha's trying to drain all of the magic and everything out of Wanda, but then Wanda just turns around and grabs it right back and is slowly like gaining more and more power through this. And I love the tiara thing, because this originally started out with if you like saw the comics, she used to have like this butterfly psionic energy effect in front of her forehead also. In fact, most all the comic book characters that had like some kind of magic psionic power had that same butterfly thing in front of their head. That's what that kind of looked like, and then it melded into the tiara looking headpiece that Scarlet Witch has. They get blasted out of this vision and back into the real world, and we have them fighting again up in the air, and then we see Wanda's getting the upper hand. I
love it because you see her like fighting with Agatha. She's like, you want my power, take it, and she's like shooting off her power towards Agatha, but at the same time she's like missing, and you see her hitting her own hex with it, and it's like, what is she doing? And then you see Agatha turn around and try to basically get rid of Wanda, like, I've got your power now, haha, here we go, and nothing. Nada. Zip. Zilch. Zero.
No gas in the tank.
No gas in the tank. Bagel. No
juice in the berries. Just
no juice.
I feel like that's a term for something else.
You just make that one up?
No.
Anyway, what we see that Wanda has taken a lesson out of Agatha's book and has created runes on the walls of the hex. Now, she mentioned why this works. It's because the runes created by the witch only allow that particular witch to be able to use their magic powers. And how did Agatha get fooled there? How did she get tricked? She's been around since 1693. How did she get tricked? You think she'd be smart enough? No, she is a power hungry person, and that is what her character was all along. It's what she wanted. She wanted Wanda's power. She wanted the power of the Scarlet Witch, essentially, for herself. And every time we see a power hungry person, they usually always get ahead of themselves and fall prey to, sometimes their own medicine. And that's exactly what Wanda did here. And that was such a cool moment too. The second you start, like, I remember watching the first rune appeared from behind Wanda. I was like, oh,
and the camera, the camera did this panning shot where it panned around Wanda, and you saw the rune like come a peek out from
the clouds.
Oh yeah, that was a great shot. Yeah, and then you saw the one pop up behind Agatha,
and then you cut to Agatha, and she's like, "Oh, crap." Yeah. Oh man, that was so good. That was such a great moment. I loved it.
And then on top of that, you got Wanda pulls all of her magic back out of Agatha, and then gives us that very nice, very sweet, that hero shot that Ed Harris says in Truman Show. We got the Scarlet Witch, like in costume, in full glory, just absolutely, chef's kiss. Like the costume looks good. And that was the thing, like when she was originally when she was casted to play Wanda back at, like, I think the first time we saw her was at the end of The Winter Soldier, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. We saw her in that post-credit scene.
With the
blocks. And then of course we mostly saw her in Age of Ultron. I was like, I like Elizabeth Olsen. She's a good actress, but I can't see her as like the Scarlet Witch with like the headdress and stuff. And then of course we got the costume image that I don't have anymore. But we got the image of Wanda in the Halloween costume. We're like, oh, that's cute, but they'll never do that. That just looks silly. I love how wrong I have been at talking about translating the costumes from the comics into the actual movies. Because, I mean, even like Captain America's costume, you look at it like, that's not going to translate well. And there's parts of it that they've dropped. The blue on his costume used to have like fish scale looking things. That's not a part of it, obviously. So, but in general, they translated perfectly. Iron Man, Thor, they all did very well.
That is something that, doesn't get talked about a lot, in which the various costume departments that work for Marvel on each movie, man, they need to be talked about more, because they really do a fantastic job of translating these images that we know from the comics to the screen. I mean,
that just looks so good.
It fits the MCU style, but two, it is essentially not a one for one, but a dang close representation of what Scarlet Witch looked like in the comics. Now, again, what she actually looked like in the comics was her Halloween costume, and obviously that's campy and corny. But this was cool. This was really dope. And
this is where I question, like, would Wolverine's costume actually look decent if they were to translate it?
I'm excited for the X-Men, because I want to see, like, we got the mutants. We got a little bit of it from, what was it? It was the end of Apocalypse.
It was a cut. It was a cut scene from the Wolverine, the movie where he goes to Japan.
That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, we got that for sure. But I'm talking about like the X-Men in general. The end of Age of Apocalypse or what have you. They were kind of in sort of comic accurate costumes right at the end there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I want to see what the MCU does with them, because the MCU is going to be super faithful to their designs from the comics, but also give them that modern flair like we got with Scarlet Witch here. Mm-hmm. And speaking of X-Men, this reminds me that this story that we saw within WandaVision of Wanda essentially taking on that Scarlet Witch mantle and becoming the Scarlet Witch is still a better Dark Phoenix story than Fox ever did.
Essentially, yeah. So,
am I wrong?
I want to see if they get the X-Men. I don't want it to be anytime soon. Like, I don't want them to reintroduce the X-Men and then, like, within the first movie or within the first two movies, we're like, oh, Jean Grey's having issues with her powers. Like, I don't want any hint at Phoenix or anything for a while.
I just want Jean Grey to be Jean Grey.
Yeah, exactly. I do like the idea if they do bring it back up, that will lead to like maybe the Avengers versus X-Men crossover, which very heavily relies on Phoenix. But We could talk about that on some other thing where we're theorizing. Let's finish with this show.
Yeah, we'll get there. Inevitably, we will get to something where we'll be talking about that.
Yeah. I like what happened with Agatha.
Yeah. Where you have... No, go ahead.
Yeah, where basically she still exists. She just got depowered. Mm-hmm. And it was like Wanda is putting her specifically right back where she was as Agnes the nosy neighbor.
And I love artichoke.
Yeah, I love the line. Catherine Hahn. Oh my gosh, such a national treasure in this show. It feels like a movie. Really movie. What I like about it is what Wanda was saying. Like, hey, I'm going to have need for you again, and I know where I'll find you. So I know we've talked about this. We've heard this before. Is specifically with Doctor Strange. The Doctor Strange movie coming up. Do you have to have watched WandaVision to be able to get it?
It's possible. It's very possible.
There's definitely going to be now we know like Wanda's going to be a lot more powerful in there. She's coming in on this costume. If you didn't watch WandaVision, you're going to have like no idea, or you're going to be like, well, I knew she had powers, and yeah, Wanda has powers. She just changed her clothes.
I could see them taking what we see in WandaVision and kind of yada-yadaing over it a little bit within the story of Doctor Strange, saying, yes, well, ever since I came back from the snap, I've been training myself. I've been honing my power, and now I'm fully able to utilize the chaos magic within me. Boom!
Yeah,
now we know why she's got a costume and everything.
And I do like going back with Agatha with the Darkhold was saying that like that all that can make her more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. So we got a direct connection there with Doctor Strange.
He's gonna have something to say about that for sure. Especially as he is supposed to be guarding over this dimension and all realities and all that.
Yeah. Like flashbacks to like the movies, kind of like maybe to the show as well.
That makes sense.
They might do that. There might be like a throwaway thing where Doctor Strange is talking to Wanda like, hey, I saw what you did over in Westview, and like he opens up a portal and is like doing a PowerPoint presentation real quick of like flashes of Westview, and that's it. That's all that got you caught up on it.
I can see them also making a funny little joke, like Wanda within the Doctor Strange movie. Wanda's gonna be like, "I need to ask something from my mentor real quick," and she flashes over to Westview and wakes up Agatha real quick for something. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, but given how good Catherine Hahn did in this, I would very much suspect that we're going to see her again. And there might be a possibility, again, Agatha Harkness is not a villain really in the comics at all. She is a mentor to Wanda. So I wouldn't be surprised if we bring back Agatha and she's like, you know what? You beat the crap out of me the last time. You are the more, let me help you just hone this. I'm no longer after your powers. I can't defeat you ever. Let me just be your friend now. Is that possible? I don't know. I'm not really friends with any of my high school bullies, so I don't know if that's possible.
Well, look who's on the internet talking about geek stuff now. Anyway,
instead of my head in a toilet doing it.
Well,
what's called swirly.
Yeah. I can see, I mean, if they bring her back, it's going to be like in like a same vein as say like Loki, where he kind of, his motives are questionable. But he's still kind of like anti-hero-ish at times, even though he tried to like literally destroy New York City with an alien army. Yeah, that's the thing. We might not be done necessarily with WandaVision at all because of some connections over with the Loki show when that starts. It's true. Again, this is like one of those things. What's going on with Agnes / Agatha? Vision kind of dipping and taking off on his own. And then obviously when we get to the post credit, all this stuff could lead into a WandaVision season 2. But it's really hard to convince me right now that they are going to do that when they called this episode the series finale.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But along the lines of it being the series finale, you got to get to the part of the show that's really, really heartbreaking. And that's Wanda knowing that she's got to let down the hex. It's got to go away. She's got to move on. And in doing so, she's going to have to sacrifice her kids and Vision.
Mm-hmm. That was the one that I think was probably like what got me the most choked up out of everything on this show.
No.
Like, even the way she's saying bye to the kids, I'm like, she's just tucking them in and say, "Mommy loves you. Y'all did a good job.
You're gonna die now."
Yeah, and it was just, I was like, here's the thing, like, they're not real. They're real to her, but they're not real. So it's like you feel this like torn thing in there. And yeah, maybe I'm quick to say that just because they're not my fake kids. So
yeah, that was really the heartbreaking thing, though. And I can't remember at what point during the tucking them in did I realize, oh no, she's not just tucking them in for the night. She's saying goodbye forever.
Yeah.
And man, that was so rough, though. But I think we talk a lot about Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany and Catherine Hahn in this show. Like, man, give them all the Emmys. Give them every single one of the Emmys because they all deserve it. But those two boys sticking out as long as they have playing Billy and Tommy, they were fantastic. And I would love if they don't do anything with them for like a few more years and let the two of them grow up a little bit and let them continue playing those characters older. I know there's a chance we might need to touch on Wiccan and Speed before they're actually of age to play them in a more adult fashion. But if we can wait on those characters and it makes sense story-wise, I would love to see the two of them playing those characters again.
Yeah, because they did so well.
Yeah.
But moving on to the kids, or moving away from the kids because, well, they're dead. Just
damn.
Kidding. That was extremely heartbreaking to see them, like, especially because the way they did that very stereotypical sitcom thing with like the parents in the doorway, both the mom and the dad, they're in the doorway. You see the light from the hall behind them. They're like, "All right, kids, good night, sweet dreams.
We love you 3000."
Yeah. What's that line from Cider House Rules? We good night, you princes of, I don't know. I forgot the line, but movie quotes. Someone in the chat will probably able.
Don't you hate it when you bring up something that you just can't stick the landing on?
Yeah, I absolutely do. But like, we got Andres in the chat here. He might be able to tell us. So, y'all know what line I'm trying to quote. But moving on from the kids, then you had that really strong connection between Wanda and Vision as we're seeing the hexes slowly getting tighter and tighter towards the house. You got that really heartfelt goodbye between the two of them, and as the hexes engulfing their actual house.
Yeah, I loved Vision's line there when he's saying, like, "I've been a voice with no body," referencing Jarvis, and then a body but not human, referencing obviously Vision himself, and then now a memory, and referencing the fact that he's just a piece of the Mind Stone that Wanda said, "You're a piece of the Mind Stone that was within me," and that was such a great touching moment. But I loved the we've said goodbye before, so it stands to reason that we'll say hello again. And, he was saying, and who knows what form I'll take next. Yeah. We're obviously referencing, okay, we're going to get Wanda meeting up with old Vision body, new Vision mind. whatever. At some point, we're not saying goodbye to these two as a couple. It's just bye for now, essentially, for this show. This is the one thing that this show has been fantastic on this entire time, and that is the relationship between Wanda and Vision. Even if the Vision that we have in this show is a made-up Vision by Wanda, it's still what they did the best within this show, and I think it's what they wanted to do the best within the show. Touch on Wanda's trauma, her hurt, her pain, her grief, but also her relationship with Vision. Mm-hmm. Like Darcy said, their love is real. He may not be real, but their love is real. So
yeah,
that is if I'm going to walk away and take one thing away from this show, it's that they did their characters justice in terms of their actual relationship.
Yeah. And that's what I was kind of talking about with what we saw from Infinity War. I really don't think it built up the fact that there really was a relationship. It was just kind of like real quick. We see them in Scotland, like, oh, I guess these two are trying to be a couple. He's a robot. She's a human. How does all of that work? Never mind. I don't want to know. But
it works.
You get, it works. It works good. Twins. So you got this show that really did cement that relationship. And even still, like throughout the show, I was still watching like, yeah, but he's a robot. This is weird. But you still felt that connection between the two.
He's a synthezoid.
Whatever. You still felt that connection between the two of them, which again is clearly a testament to both Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany's acting in this, because they did fantastic together. Yeah. But yeah, that shot of while the hex is closing around, oh my gosh, all the tears. Like I don't want to see him say goodbye. So
yeah.
So you had that, and then like the hex, of course, is gone. It's Wanda's back out, just like standing on the empty plot that was where the house was. Everything's gone back to normal, and
her car's no longer crashed into the house next door. It's fine.
But she just leaves it there, just flies away.
Yeah, don't need that car anymore.
So yeah. That was it.
That is what we call superhero privilege, that you can just leave a car behind and forget about it. The rest of us, we can't afford that. We have to sell the thing if we're just going to fly away because we need the money. That is superhero privilege right there.
Or you just leave it hanging out at another apartment complex while there's a gigantic ice storm in Texas, and it just stays there for a week because you can't tow it.
That's a very specific story. It's like that happened to you.
Oh, I feel like that might have happened, actually. Go figure.
Anyway, so obviously, like, we're going to give our overall thoughts of the show, but we can't do that without touching on these post-credit scenes, and then obviously some like questions and stuff that we have still lingering.
Yep.
So we get to the post-credit scene, and I heard this great phrase. It might have been on Alex and Ben's stereo show, but somebody put in the chat, or somebody chatted in, what is a post-credit scene if not an episode persevering? And it's hilarious. It's fantastic. But the first post-credit scene, and this is funny because like this is where we actually get the wrap-up of what's going on with Hayward. We see him kind of being carted off here, and Monica walking up to Jimmy Woo going, "Hey, you know what? Authority looks pretty good on you." And we kind of get our like side characters kind of getting their situations wrapped up within this show. Darcy, we know she doesn't want to do debriefing. She's gone. She took off somewhere. Cool. Later, Darcy. But then you have another agent of some sort telling Monica they want to meet you in the theater. Oh, okay. Well, we'll go into the theater then. And so the scene we get is this agent turns into a Skrull, which we knew Skrulls were going to be present at some point, telling Monica that a friend of your mom's wants to meet with you. Where? Right up there. And of course, we know that she's most likely talking about Nick Fury here. Because last we saw Nick Fury, he was up in a sword-established space station, in a post credit. I believe it was for Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Yeah, kicking back, sipping on Mai Tais or whatever, staring at like a scenery screen like they do in Back to the Future 2. Broadcasting beautiful views 24 hours a day. You're watching the Scenery Channel. I mean, that's what that was. See, I can make that quote, but no, I can't do the stupid quote, "Good night, you princes of Maine, you kings of England." No, I get the Back to the Future quote, but not the Cider House Rules.
Couldn't even do the Cider House Rules quote when you pulled it up either.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
look, Robert answered Robert. That's awesome.
So that's the interesting thing here is that obviously we're setting up two things. We're setting up Captain Marvel 2, more than likely, because that's where we're definitely going to be seeing Monica Rambeau. And then we're also setting up with the Skrull, we're setting up the Secret Invasion show that's still coming. So
they're slowly doing that. So far, the only thing we've really seen as far as like Skrulls being a part of the common MCU was at the end of Far From Home when we found out that that Fury and Maria Hill were actually Skrulls. That was what's his face and his wife.
Talos and his wife. Yeah,
Talos and Talos's wife.
Talos and Mrs. Talos.
Yeah, we found out it was them posing all along. So we've already seen now that we have Skrulls that are posing as regular characters. So now we're this again, even though we have no idea who this random agent was. I don't know why they didn't. They should have made like that. Was it Major Goodner or whatever? Yeah, they should have made her the Skrull.
I know why they didn't, and that would have taken the attention too far off of Wanda and her story at that time to just make that the moment there. They wanted to keep it post credit to try to this is a stinger. It's a stinger situation. Yeah. So we got that, and then we had one more, and that's the thing. We had that post credit. I was like, that's not the only post credit, is it? There's no way. And of course, I scrubbed forward from in the credits to see if there's anything else. Yes, there's something else coming. Okay, cool. We get Wanda has secluded herself off in a cabin, like apparently every Marvel character does after wreaking havoc. Thanos.
Yeah. Everyone likes going to the garden or the cabin out in the middle of nowhere and just, that actually sounds very delightful. Yeah, Talos and Soren. That sounds super delightful. Like,
I want a cabin. Again,
I want to be able to just privilege. Go to a cabin. Yeah.
Superhero privilege. You get a cabin that you can just go seclude yourself off to.
Apparently, in our world, though, in the real world, not superhero world, but in our world, if you go seclude yourself in a cabin for like a month, someone will hand you like $10 million or so. Especially if you do it without the internet, which good luck having this show or our next show that I'll mention here in a little bit. Good luck having that keep going.
Yeah, silly little Facebook things. So we get Wanda off.
Billionaire.
Right. We get Wanda off in a cabin by herself. Sitting there just enjoying the view, gets up, making some tea, and she's not by herself. Well, she sort of is, but she's not. She's literally by herself.
You get that camera panning, you hear the ominous music, and it was really dark. So I mean, the screenshot's really dark as well. But she has learned how to separate her astral projection that is sitting there studying the Darkhold.
Last time we saw
Darkhold.
Last time we saw an astral projection separation was from the Sorcerer Supreme himself, Doctor Strange.
He did that actually. He actually, I think he was asleep while his astral projection was still awake, studying the books.
Yep. Which is exactly what we see here. Her astral projection is actually studying the Darkhold while she is enjoying a nice, relaxing afternoon in the mountains.
Which I would have been in a bathtub with a bath bomb and a nice glass of something. But I mean, you do you, Wanda.
Yeah. I wonder if that is really Wanda or another from another universe. I don't think it's another universe. I think she has just learned the astral projection side of it. But the really important thing here is when we see her going through the Darkhold, we get a little bit of a music note there. Guys, go back and listen to that because that is the theme. It was Giacchino's score from Doctor Strange, just in a minor key, so it's a little bit darker and more ominous sounding. But it is the Doctor Strange theme that's playing there, giving into, once again, the very heavy-handed, hey, this is leading into Multiverse of Madness. This is our next stop for Wanda and her story. So that's another reason why I don't think we're necessarily looking at a WandaVision season 2. We're looking at everything happening that's a cliffhanger, kind of moving into Multiverse of Madness instead.
Yeah. And Gordon is saying that it looks like Bruce Banner's cabin at the end of Incredible Hulk. Wasn't it you were saying earlier that you saw this and then you started going through like the pantheon of all the cabins that we've seen in the MCU? Like, is it one of this one?
No, I was only for a second I was only thinking that it was the same cabin as the end of Endgame during Tony's funeral, but it's not. It's a completely different cabin. So turns out there's multiple cabins by water apparently within the MCU. Who knew?
Not necessarily. I know I've seen, like, I don't know if we've seen in the MCU actually.
Well, so actually to answer that, the last time we saw it was with Doctor Strange while he was like sleeping. Mm-hmm. But we know that the Scarlet Witch is supposed to be more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme based on what Agatha said earlier. So in that instance, it makes more sense that while we think that maybe the Sorcerer Supreme needs to be asleep while doing it, and I'm not even 100% certain that that's true, she doesn't have to be.
Yeah, so Wanda flexing her power.
She's super powerful, yeah.
And I mean, yeah, she is powerful. I mean, going back to the comics, there's a whole House of M storyline that ends with cabin in MCU. That's funny. That ends with Wanda like just tired of mutants, so she says no more mutants, and pretty much all of the mutants disappear, just like Thanos snapping his fingers and half of the world gone. Like all the mutants were depowered. They lost their powers. They're no longer X-Men, heroes, villains, whatever. Mutants just no longer exist. So
yeah, as of right now, I believe that Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch, is the most powerful character within the MCU. The only other one who comes probably even close to her would be Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yep. So I do like, though, that they used her while they could against Thanos in Endgame, when she was like, you took everything from me, in whatever accent she has. And he's like, I don't even know who you are, type of thing. Like, I'm glad they did that then, because this Wanda going up against Thanos would destroy him easily. Just thinking about it, just gone. Like, all of Endgame would no longer actually even happen, because you got Wanda's just too darn powerful for that to be any kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then so like loving that post-credit scene, because, you know, she's going through the Darkhold, and then yes, we hear her kids crying out to her, Mom, save us. So the thing I think that this might be setting up, and this is what I'm wondering, is are we looking at Chthon being the villain of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness? Because as far as like powerful characters go, he's pretty dang powerful too. And it might be necessary to have a Scarlet Witch along with the Sorcerer Supreme in order to take him on. And maybe, I don't know, maybe he's still connected to Dormammu, or maybe he's connected to Mephisto, and we get Mephisto or Nightmare and Chthon and Dormammu, or any combination of the four of them somehow within the Multiverse of Madness. I think that might be the direction we're heading. Mm-hmm. But I know a lot of people were asking, going into the show, and we're kind of getting to our like little extra points and questions that we have here. A lot of people were asking, where's Doctor Strange? Why didn't he show up? We were kind of expecting Benedict Cumberbatch to show up in this show. Where's he at? He's supposed to be protecting all the realities, and wouldn't he take notice of somebody who's supposed to be more powerful than him? Shouldn't he be showing up? And I think this is the same kind of question that we've gotten ever since the first Avengers movie. Something big and nasty is happening. Where are the other heroes at? Why aren't they helping out in these situations? And the answer has always been because they're busy. They're handling their own stuff. And to be fair, look at the timeline of this show in relation to everybody coming back from the snap. Doctor Strange has been back for maybe 3 weeks by the end of WandaVision. And you have to take into consideration that the Sorcerer Supreme has not been around for 5 years since he was snapped away. What kind of chaos are the multiple realities and everything in without the Sorcerer Supreme being there to kind of guide them and keep the reins on them?
Not to mention, he probably just wanted to grab a cheeseburger. It's what Tony would do.
He would want to grab a tuna on rye or whatever.
Yeah. No, that was Wong.
Well, I don't know. I'm just trying to reference the sandwich here.
Wong wouldn't say no to a tuna melt.
Tuna melt. There it is. So Doctor Strange is probably a little bit busy, to be honest, and we'll probably see how busy he is when we get to his movie. But I would say that's why Doctor Strange didn't show up here. There's been bigger issues that he's had to deal with as the Sorcerer Supreme. I'm gonna say here first.
That might be too powerful.
Was the Living Tribunal villainous though? Kind of just
potentially. They're typically they're the part of the overarching gods of the entire MCU, and I don't know if we're quite ready. Yeah, I don't know if we're quite ready to get there yet with all these really, really powerful gods. We got close with Ego in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I don't know if we're going to bring back the rest of them, like the other Celestials, which I know we will be talking about the Celestials more when the Eternals comes out. I just love that movie is called Eternal, and who knows when that one's going to come out. We might as well call Black Widow Eternal at this point.
We're eternally waiting for it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to see Living Tribunal pop up just because I want to see a rematch of Doctor Strange and Living Tribunal from that Pink Floyd album cover.
Here's the thing, I don't think anything is off the table, honestly, especially because they've already name dropped the Living Tribunal in the first Doctor Strange movie. The staff of the Living Tribunal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So they've already name dropped the Living Tribunal. And we've gotten Ego complete with a planet with a face on it.
Who thought we were going to see Ego in these movies?
No, yeah. We've gotten Celestial. I don't think anything is off the table at this point. So I want
MODOK.
I don't think MODOK is off the table.
I think MODOK's coming.
I don't know where we put MODOK right now, but I don't think he's
in Patton Oswalt's hands.
Yeah, pretty much. So the other thing I wanted to touch on was we talked about the Darkhold being a part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It had a place within Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the thing is that within that, one, it looked different. It didn't look the same as it does within WandaVision. And two, Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider in that show, took the Darkhold to hell and left it there. So if that show is still canon, then we have to wonder, one, why does it look different? And two, how did Agatha get a hold of it when it was in hell?
Also, what would be the timeline for it appearing in the Runaways? And is the Runaways canon also?
Yeah. And so I think the easy answer here...
I want Elizabeth Hurley in the MCU. I'm just saying.
Of course. I would say the easy answer here, and the one that Kevin Feige would probably give, would be, don't really think too hard about how canon those particular shows are. Obviously, we might get like a Charlie Cox Daredevil within some of these MCU properties, shows, and movies now. But outside of that, I don't think you're going to see too much of the shows that existed prior to WandaVision being canon within the MCU anymore. And that can get confusing for a lot of people, I'm sure. But I think that's you're going to end up seeing Kevin Feige kind of give that hard stance soon enough so that it's very clear, like, we're drawing the line here. WandaVision is the first TV show within the MCU canon that we're going to hold to being canon.
Yeah.
So, and then, like, the only other question I have, actually I got a couple, just like two more questions. The only other questions I have are within that post-credit scene with Wanda, how does that lead into Multiverse of Madness? Because I see a situation where Strange will either come for her, she'll go to Strange needing help, or because
I always go to Strange when I need help.
Right? Yes. Or we see Mordo, who is on a warpath to get rid of all the excess wizards and people who can do magic. There's too many people who know how to do magic. It's not good for the earth and for this reality. So I'm going to start taking the magic out of people. If we see Mordo in his role being that he's coming after Wanda, the Scarlet Witch now. And I wonder if you kind of get that set up with Agatha within this show, kind of being the precursor to somebody else who's trying to take her magic power away from her. Mm-hmm. So I think that might be the role that we see kind of Mordo go into, is maybe he's taking notice of her and he's coming after her, or maybe she is guided to Mordo for help. She finds Mordo and looks to him for help and awakens a bad guy within the multiverse of madness. So that might be a thing. Yeah, and this is the other one Andres brings up. What if the child calling for help isn't her child, but it's Dormammu tricking Wanda? That's the thing. Dormammu is gonna still be in play. There's no way that they just left Dormammu as just the bodiless face from the first Doctor Strange movie, and that's it. He's gonna come back in some capacity. And then last thought is, after all this is said and done, after we've theorized and thought about who could be what, we don't have a witness protection person that Jimmy Woo was trying to find. He was a nobody. We don't have an aerospace engineer. That might still be Reed, but he had no presence within this show. The only question that I'm really disappointed that we didn't find out is, who the hell are the couple that were in the commercials?
That would be Ithamar Enriquez and Victoria Blade.
They're is that the actual actors' names?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Who were they, though? Were they just other members of the town? Were they somewhere within Westview also just kind of locked in their house doing the same thing? Who were they? We didn't see them in the street corner being angry at Wanda for pushing them into a life of advertising. I look out for them. I wonder where they are. Are they okay? Are they feeling good? Do they have kids? Are they even married? Do they even really know who each other are? Are they strangers? Who are they? WandaVision, you let me down. I hate this show. They didn't tell me who they were. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love this show. This show was perfect.
It was Ralph Boner all along.
Yes.
Boner.
Guys, start getting some questions into the chat there. Again, you can send questions into Streamlabs. It really helps us out a whole lot as well. So if you want to do that, send them in the chat. We're going to start going over questions here in a second, but we want to make sure like we get some plugs into some stuff that we're doing here pretty soon.
Gordon here is bringing up a really good. Wasn't the only thing keeping Dormammu away was the time loop that Strange created with the Time Stone? If the Time Stone no longer exists, if it's been the Time Stone was put back.
Yeah.
So the Time Stone went back to the 2012 Avengers movie, given back to the ancient one. So it still exists, supposedly, I guess.
Theoretically, Strange should still have it at this point, but it's a question as to how he came back in possession of it when he came from the planet Titan into the final battle in Endgame. How he reacquired it when that stone was... Anyway. So, yes, the time loop was the only thing, I think, in the presence of Doctor Strange. He was only keeping the time loop going while he was within, I believe it was the dark dimension with Dormammu. So I think once he left, there was just an agreement between the two of them that Dormammu would leave them alone, which, here's the thing. Are we taking Dormammu at his word? Do we really think this is a man of his word here? He's not even a man.
Yeah.
So I have to expect that he comes back at some point, but at least at this point so far, there was an agreement between them because Doctor Strange had the power to put him back into a time loop if he wanted to. So,
Dang it, Andres.
Oh,
He's
no.
putting our chat in a time loop.
Andres, we will ban you. We will ban you from the chat. Can I time him out?
No.
Stop it. Stop it.
This is the most action like our chat has gotten like that quick in a while. Just paste.
So, guys, stop Andres there by putting in more questions and stuff that you might have that we can talk about as well.
While we wait to see if anyone else has any questions and comments.
Thanks, Rachel. Mind blown.
Yeah. So while we do that, let's talk about something that we have coming up. So of course, this is the finale of WandaVision. Therefore, that means this is the finale of our WandaVision breakdown episodes. That means next Friday, we get a Friday off for the most part. We will not be doing an episode. I know Disney Plus is releasing their Marvel Assembled TV show, which the first episode is going to be the behind the scenes of that of WandaVision. Mm-hmm. I plan on watching that from the coziness of my bed, laying down, watching it on my laptop, and just being able to enjoy and not have to talk about or analyze, because I'm pretty sure it's probably just going to be a very straightforward behind the scenes. If there is anything else going on that's tied to WandaVision, I'm pretty sure it'll pop back up either in Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel 2, or even the Loki TV show that will be coming up pretty soon.
Possibly even Spider-Man.
Yeah, that also. So next Friday, we will not be doing a live stream episode. Let's talk about the Friday after that, though. So Friday after that, apparently Marvel is cranking out another show. This would be Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which again is a really super long title. We need to fix this. So I feel like let's just squeeze it down to like the acronym. FATWUS.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
FATWUS. FATWUS. That would be, for those of y'all want to see in the chat.
FATWS.
FATWUS.
The show's called FATWUS.
You could join us for our breakdown of FATWUS. That'll be starting on March 19th. In fact,
this is how we end our YouTube channel.
FATWUS.
You guys can't call the show Fat Wuss. What's wrong with you?
I'll call the show Fat Wuss. I mean, what's a Fat Wuss gonna do? He's a wuss.
Oh,
I mean, come at me, Fat Wuss. Let's bring it on. Let's go. Anyways, so on March 19th, roughly around the same, like 9 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, or 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern.
9 to 10.
Yeah, we will be doing this again, talking about probably with a lot less like suspicions and Easter eggs, but who knows? We don't know what that show is fully going to be about. So anyways, y'all want to be on the lookout for this thumbnail right here. Oh, it's beautiful. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 1 breakdown. So that will be coming the 19th of this month. So be on the lookout for that thumbnail. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see everyone who was here for WandaVision come back so we can be nerdy all over the Falcon and the Winter Soldier also.
That's a shame way of putting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't expect this show to be riddled with Easter eggs as much as like WandaVision is. We're lean into theorizing as much as WandaVision has, but there's definitely going to be situations where there's going to be stuff from the comic books that we can be pointing out and what have you, and fun little tips and tricks in terms of what did they do editing wise. Like we already saw in the trailers when Falcon is looking at the Captain America shield and you see the big Captain America mural over on his left, on your left. There's going to be fun little stuff like that I'm sure they're going to do within the show that we'll be able to have fun highlighting and talking about and kind of finding like deeper meanings and stuff. But outside of that, I don't know if the show is going to lean into as much like hypothetical theorizing as WandaVision did, because WandaVision was a mystery. We didn't know what this show was going into it.
I still don't.
It's true. Like, we saw the first trailers for this. I had no idea what this show was going into it. I was like, I don't know. I'm going to watch it, though. And by the end of it, I know exactly what this show is. It was Wanda's story, her journey through her grief and her pain. And it was a wonderful, beautiful show. I loved this show. This show was perfect. And I'm so glad that we got to do like a little show covering it and talking about it. So glad we made the decision to do like TV show breakdowns like this.
Yeah. So real quick, I mean, we got 14 Little Angel is taken off. Hey, if you're still here, come back for Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So thank you for hanging out while we do WandaVision. It's great to like get to know you throughout the chat of this. So come back. We're going to have a lot of fun, and especially with the Loki one afterwards, that's going to be great also. So
that one will lean into theorizing and stuff, because that one's kind of a mystery right now too as to what really that show is about.
We might have something special cooked up for that show as well. So that's the little teaser. We're not mentioning anything else about Loki right now. But yes. Anyways, that is so next show, Fat Wuss, will be coming pretty soon. I don't know if that actually is going to stick. I might try to force it in or something. I don't know.
Oh gosh. I wanted to bring up, Rachel said, if Wanda is going evil, I think Vision is the key to her redemption. He is worthy after all, and there's a lot of story there. I don't think it's so much that he was like worthy as much as he's just a machine. He's not actually technically a living being, as far as like lifting Thor's hammer goes. But I would also say that he is actually worthy even still. So I don't know, and I don't know if I wouldn't say that Wanda's going to go evil and say Multiverse of Madness. I think that she's using her power to dive into the Darkhold, and she's going to be able to withstand the power of the Darkhold. She's going to try to find her kids, get her kids, or what have you. And I think maybe in doing so, she releases, like I said, Chthon, Dormammu, somebody
Evil Wanda.
Evil, yeah. Dark Wanda.
Dark Wanda, yeah.
And that becomes the villain of that movie. So I don't think she's going to be bad in that movie. I think she's going to make an oopsie, and her and Doctor Strange will have to wrangle in the big bad guy.
You say she's going to make an oopsie.
It wouldn't be the first time she's done it. Civil War.
Anyways. Yeah, I think that does it for this show. Guys, folks, this was a long one. Of course, this was what this show deserves. A nice, long, thorough breakdown. I love this show. It's going to be fun. Like, I'm probably going to give it like at least a good couple of months, and then I might sit down and watch this show again. Or I might actually try to hold out for like the Doctor Strange and then come back and watch this again. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how this show grows. If this is gonna be something like I could put on while I fall asleep, like I do with the rest of the Marvel movies. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight, y'all.
Yeah. Like we were saying before. Like we were saying before, guys, you definitely want to hop on that Patreon. We're doing a lot of cool stuff over there on the Patreon. We're going to be doing some watch-alongs this month, one of which will be public, so that one you can join whether you're on Patreon or not. But we will be doing the Kong Skull Island watch-along with a Blu-ray giveaway. If you sign up on the Patreon and join us for that watch-along, you will be entered right in the chat during that watch-along for that Blu-ray giveaway of Kong Skull Island. So you're definitely going to want to sign up on the Patreon at the Dude tier. Join us for that watch along. It's going to be a ton of fun as we get ready for Godzilla versus King Kong. I can never remember which one comes first in that title. Godzilla versus King Kong. We're going to be doing the Kong Skull Island watch along, so that's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of. We're also doing other cool things. We're doing these movie trivia nights now where we're gearing up and studying for movie trivia. There is a reason for that. There's a reason for that. We're going to be studying up, though, and we would love to have you guys join us. That's going to be at the Maverick tier on the Patreon. If you want to join us, quiz us, be quizzed yourself, and just have an overall fun time hanging out and nerding out over some movie trivia, those are going to be the hangouts. Those are going to be the nights you're going to want to join us. Those are kind of happening randomly right now, so those are, typically around Wednesdays or Thursdays is usually where we're keeping them to. But kind of one of those, if we feel like doing movie trivia that night, we're going to hit everybody up at that tier saying, come join us. Let's do it. We might have dedicated nights for that too still. But regardless, you're going to want to hop on that tier and join us for those. Like we said earlier, though, jump on the Discord. You can do that at the $1 tier, the Neo tier. Join that movie loving community we're building over there. It's a ton of fun in the Discord. So that's all the fun stuff you can do on there. What are some other stuff that's coming?
Well, there's other stuff like the Tagline. That's our flagship show. That is on Tuesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Come back for that. We talk about movie news, everything going on with movies. If you didn't know, we like movies. I mean, that's the point of this channel. So,
I hate them.
Oh, weird YouTube channel for you to be a part of. Hey, Andres, are you available? So come on back. Tagline again, Tuesday nights, 9:30 p.m. Central Time. We also have rankings going on. We just released the ranking for our top 10 Eddie Murphy movies, so go check that out. We will be watching Coming to America and reviewing that. That should hopefully be out this weekend. I know the watching of the movie will probably be here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So come back for the ranking. I believe next week we're starting to gear up for the Justice League Zack Snyder cut that's going to be coming up. So you're going to see a couple of rankings having to do with the DC Extended Universe, or the DCEU as I like to call it. That will be coming up. The next ranking, I believe, is the DCEU Heroes. So we will be doing a ranking that should be Thursday of next week. So keep an eye out for that. Should be a lot of fun to make that. And of course, movie trailers. As movie trailers come out, as we're able to get to them, especially ones that we feel relevant at that time, we will definitely jump on those. I believe there should be a movie trailer for Space Jam coming out pretty soon. So I'm super eager for that because I was a huge fan of Space Jam as a kid. Maybe not so much as an adult now, but you know what? I like nostalgia. I'm ready to throw back to a good time with Looney Tunes and basketball players. So trailers coming out, that'll definitely be something to keep your eye out for. Good.
Also, you can like, comment, and share and subscribe this video. I can't subscribe the video, but you can like and comment and share it.
Yes. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are at Cinefanatics MLP. Good places for something like that, by the way. Cinefanatics MLP on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at Robert Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. You can find my brother over here at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. So you can follow him officially on Letterboxd now as well. Yeah. So go over there, hop on his Letterboxd. If you haven't hopped on mine, hop on that too. Hit up both of us while you're over there on Letterboxd. That is such a fun app to play with. Anyways, that's going to do it for tonight, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. All y'all in the chat who've been here, thank y'all for being here. We hope to see y'all again in this chat when we start talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was. So thank y'all for watching. And for one last time, we're going to leave you with our favorite image of this show. Y'all have a great night. For myself, for my brother, for everyone from the Cinefanatics, which is just the two of us that I mentioned. Y'all all have a great night. Later.
See ya.
Fat wuss.